Hi, and welcome to 3dmotive.com. My name is Stephen G. Wells, and I'm a senior 3D artist. In this particular tips and tricks tutorial, we're going to take a look at creating custom shelves in Maya. Maya is really great for allowing you to create custom shortcuts and tabs and everything, so you can add in panels or functionalities to help make your particular workflow quicker. Some other programs do some similar things, but I do like this one particular aspect of Maya is being able to create these shelves. That's what these are. This area here, up in this right here, is our shelf editor. Okay, these are the different tabs for our different shelves. Now, what these tabs cover for the most part is these are default settings for creating like spheres and cubes and cylinders, etc. They assume that these are a lot of functionalities you're likely to use for polygons, so they try to create enough in there that you can find what you need. Of course, a lot of this stuff is actually found up in this area, the main menu. There's mesh, edit mesh, normals, selecting, assets, windows, general editors, things like that. Okay. But each one of these particular tabs is its own particular, technically it is its own custom little shelf. It adds in its own little things. Again, you're going to find more stuff up here for each one of these, but they try to help you out by allowing you to have a lot of choices for this sort of stuff. Again, of course, the beauty is you can add and create your own custom shelf. I've got my own custom shelf, SGW. I've been a modeler for over 20 years, so I'm kind of I really like those functionalities and those things that help my workflow, help me model something at a pace that I'm familiar with and happy with, so I don't have to figure out where everything is. Like, I know with Maya, if you hold your spacebar key down, I know you get this particular functionality. This is, I think, the hot box. I don't particularly like this, never have. I don't use it at all. In fact, I find it rather annoying to have to get into this. You have to hold the spacebar, but you have to get into the sub objects and sub menus, I should say, for each one of these, and you have to know what to go to and blah blah blah. I just don't like it. I don't function that way. I like something direct. I like having the access to be able to just click a button, boom, click a button, boom. And so I created my own little custom shelf. With that, I can soften edges, harden edges. As you can see, that just created all those hard edges. Let me take the wireframe off. See that? If I soften the edges again, see, it went nice and smooth. I like to be able to insert my edge loops. I'll merge vertices as I need to. I'll split polys, extrude, collapse, etc. I have my outliner on my custom shelf. I have the UV editor. I have my hypershade. I can even kill the history on an object in Maya. Now, that's the one thing that's a little odd. I don't have to deal with histories in a couple other 3D programs, but Maya has it's not a big deal. So I actually create my little shortcut in this. The nice thing about it is I can add features as I need to, or add functionalities or panels as I need to, and then I can create custom icons as I need to as well in Photoshop. Now, because as you can see, I mean, some of this obviously are the little icons that Maya will create. Everything, every functionality in Maya, every panel has its own little icon. Now, if you know what they are, great. If you're not sure, sometimes it's easier to create your own little. I actually will literally write split poly, extrude, collapse. I'm kind of old-fashioned that way. It's easier for me to read it quickly and click on it. Even though I know my own shelf, it's much easier for me to just do that, so I know exactly what something is. And the nice thing is, I've had some people that want this custom shelf so they can see it for themselves and use it. So it actually makes it easy for them too. Now, there are a couple of them that I don't bother changing because I know what they're going to be. Like, this is combined, this is split. I don't mind some of them. This is a beveling. This is vertices, edges, faces, and UVs. But again, I know my own custom shelf, and this is the easiest way for you to create your own custom shelf with your own little custom icons if you want. You guys can do images if you want this small and put them in, as long as they make sense to you, why not? the easiest way to create a new custom shelf for yourself is to go to this little arrow right here, this downward facing arrow, click it, and here you go. You have your different shelf tabs. That's all of these that are showing. You have your shelf editor. Now this is where you can actually edit the items, these particular items, in your custom shelf. Let's go ahead and click on it really quickly. Alright, so this is where you can see that for my particular custom shelf, I've got soft edge. Well, here's soft edge, hard edge, insert edge loop, insert edge loop. Okay, so there's my list of custom pieces. This is what I use for the most part for my custom items as I'm modeling. Any one of these, I can grab any one of these and I can move it up my list by clicking on this. I can move it down the list, which would technically move it left or right. Here it's moving it vertically, but technically it's moving it left or right on your particular list. Or I can grab a particular item and trash can it. Okay? I'm not going to trash can any of these because obviously these are the things I use. And as you can see, by the way, for this icon name, you can see that for my icon, I called it merge vertices 10.bmp. You can create a BMP. I believe it's 32 by 32. I believe it's 32 by 32 in Photoshop, and just save it as a BMP. And you can then navigate to it and replace the original icon for this, the original default icon, with your own thing, so you know exactly what it is. Okay, this is just the way I do it. It makes it easy for me. It works, so I keep it that way. Okay, but you can create your own custom items, what they are, in Photoshop, import them into your shelf, and then if you left click and hold, you can save all of the shelves, and it will save your shelf and all the items on your shelf in that order, which is what's really great. You can also load a custom shelf. If somebody has a custom shelf that works for you, has a lot of functionalities that you like to use as well, you can load up their shelf and it become part of yours. In this case, we're just going to go for creating a new shelf. All right, so I'm just going to click on New Shelf. Let's just call it Demo and hit OK. Now, as you can see, SGW has a whole bunch of things on it. Polygons has a whole bunch of different things on it. Endcloth has different things on it. Demo has nothing. It has nothing because we've added nothing. All right. Let's go ahead and look to add something. I want to go ahead and go to our shading. Let's just do a quick wireframe on shade, just so we've got that there. Helps so you guys can get the idea that this is still a model. All right, let's go ahead and look to some of the items in our menu that we might want to use. Like for instance, again, if we want to soften our edges, all right, let's click on Soften Edge. What we do is we'll do a Control Shift and then do a left click. See the icon that just appeared over here? Let's do a Control Shift and a left click on the Harden Edge as well. Now, as you can see, these two items, it looks like 3 edged polygons have become a nice rounded column, and a nice rounded column has become 3 edged polygons. So that's soften, that's harden. If we left click, hold and left click on our arrow and go to our shelf editor, you can see we've got the soften edge and harden edge. And again, these are what Maya itself is using. This is the PNGs that they use. I use BMPs, but you can use PNGs or BMPs. So again, you could change this icon. If you had a different one, you could change it, do it for something else. Okay. Now, if you want to see the effect that has, let's go ahead and actually turn the wireframe off just so you guys can see it. So here we've got it. If I click on this, there we go. You see all of the edges now? We can see all the polygons on all the edge loops. If I select back on this soft and select out, there we go. We've smoothed it out. Proof positive it works. Okay? It's very, very simple. If you want to be able to get to your UV editor or your hypershade, let's go for the texture UV texture editor. Again, Control Shift, and we're just going to left click on our texture editor. So what does that look like? Let's grab our item and let's hit the texture editor. Okay. Now with the texture editor, it's the same controls in Maya. It's left click and right mouse to zoom in and out. That you can see. That way you can see your UV texture space. All right. You want to pan around the scene. middle mouse Alt. Okay, and you want to move it. You can actually pan it with the middle mouse, and then you can also pan it with the left Alt as well. Because we don't have a real 3D item, we can't actually rotate around this. We're looking at a flat screen. So left and middle mouse are pans. Right Alt is zoom in and zoom out. Okay. So there you go. So we've got our texture editor. We can instantly get into our texture editor anytime we want. And then the list is endless. You can go from there. You can go to our window. You can add in the outliner. Control Shift left click. There's our outliner. Okay. You can go back up to Edit Mesh. Let's go ahead. We're just going to add a couple quick things. We're going to do Extrude. Let's go ahead and do a bridge. We'll go ahead and go for Duplicate Face. So let's assume this is what you've got so far. You've got an extrude, you've got the bridging, etc. Let's go ahead and I'm going to turn on, go to our shading and turn on our wireframe. Let's go ahead and hit F8 to get into our sub-object. Let's go ahead and grab a face and do a quick extrude. And we're going to extrude it out. There you go. Extrude. You can grab that one. You either click it again or just hit G. G is the function to repeat last command, okay? So I can do this, G. I can rotate around until I actually do something. It'll actually save that for me. So there you go. All right? So there's extrude. I'm going to go ahead and hit F8. Let's go back to, I'm going to left click and let's go to our shelf editor. Okay, well, we've got two functions for our polys, and then we've got the extrude and bridge and duplicate face. Obviously we're dealing with the polys itself or the edges and whatnot, but that UV editor and outliner are just kind of like right in the middle of it. I mean, look, it's, you know, me, I'd organize it a little bit better. I'd go ahead and move the outliner down, and I'd move the texture editor down my list. That's clicking on this little button here. And then hit close. Okay, now we have the functions of the mesh itself, and then we have some of the controls for the outliner and the UV editor as its own little panels, so we can set it out, okay? But it's just that simple. And then again, you can left click and then save all shelves, and this will turn around and save this shelf, and you'll always be able to then load it in wherever you need to on any computers you want. You can save it as a custom shelf, save it, share it with your friends, etc. But it's just that quick to create your own custom shelf in Max. It's just that, I'm sorry, in Maya. It's just that simple, and it's great user function too. I'll tell you, I can't get it. I can't do enough without all of these. When I'm modeling my things, to have all my different shortcuts here, it gets my workflow done so fast. I can get the models done pretty quickly as a result of that, because I have everything set that I need right here. It's just a click away, and I can't vouch for it enough. It's just fantastic. Anyway, this has been Stephen G. Wells for 3dmotive.com, and thanks for watching.